that conversation that you had with Musa, I watched it because Rory had sent it to the chat. That's how I saw it.
Mhm.
And I'm watching it, and I felt it was a necessary conversation.
Yeah.
I felt that it was a conversation that you needed to have. You and Musa needed to. I just don't like the fact that it happened
publicly.
Yeah. I think that it was an important conversation.
Yeah.
I think that it was some things that Musa probably had been wanting to say.
Yeah.
Both of them seem very prepared for the conversation.
Yeah.
They both had been thinking a lot of things.
You knew
No one took a second to think about their answer.
I was about to say, like, that is a conversation that me and Musa have had. And I will say, like, even worse, like, behind closed doors. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a secret between me and Musa or at the label that, like, we want the same thing. We just have two different ideas of the path that we should take to get there.
Which is what happens at times.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, we have the same destination in mind. We just have two different paths in which we believe that we should get there. And it was just one of those things that it's like it shouldn't have. Even like with me, when I said, like, you want to have a conversation, you want to go viral. In hindsight, I'm so glad he said a conversation because, like, there's so many things that me and him speak about behind closed doors. And at that moment with that alcohol in me, like, I would have been on that type of time also. And I just think it just would have been super, super nasty.
You would have said some things that today you would have looked back and
that
be like,
I would have looked back on immediately and be like, nah. Like, I actually said some things on there. Like, the only things I regret saying on there was I regret going into my relationship with SZA. I shouldn't have said I don't have a relationship with SZA. Not because it's not true, but just because it's just certain details I didn't need to, like, speak on.
Yeah, everything's not for the public.
Exactly. And then also, I shouldn't have gone into detail about who specifically we were trying to get features from. I could have easily just said we had some features that we wanted to get that didn't fall through. So those are, like, the two things that I feel like I probably shouldn't have said. You know what I mean? We're human. We make mistakes. And then I'm sure Moose has a long list of things he wish
that he didn't say.
He didn't say. Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it was the first time TDE has really gotten, like, real backlash, which is kind of crazy because even with the Kendrick and Dave split, I think both sides handled that so well. And expressed the respect they had for each side, and it was just time to part ways. It was not a messy breakup at all. It was actually kind of an ill example of how things can just get over and move on. With Punch and SZA, that's kind of just become a theme, and SZA fans are SZA fans, so they're gonna curse Punch out.
Yeah, they're gonna curse
no
Punch
matter
out.
what.
It
Like
doesn't matter. So,
that becomes more funny than it does serious.
Yeah.
This was the first time I've seen, like, real TDE pushback.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, it's the internet, so they're just going to make shit up. But everyone's like, oh, this must be what Kendrick went through. This is why Kendrick left.
Yeah.
It kind of gave the internet a reason now
to stand on all of that.
To shit up. Because, you know, everyone on the internet's waiting for people that have been doing great for so long to fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you feel like that opened the door for TDE hate? Because it was the first time I saw it.
I do, and I do feel like I feel bad about that because like I've always said on every platform how much I respect Top and how much I appreciate Top. Like, this is a man that has literally changed my life. Never let me go broke. You know, there's so many personal things Top has helped me with. So that part I feel bad about it because it's like ultimately this is Top's legacy. Like, when a lot of times we start talking about TDE and we don't realize that it's like it's Top Dog. Like, that is it's his name. You know what I mean? So I feel bad about that and I regret that, but I do feel like it is one of those situations where it is the first time that this level of controversy has happened on TDE. And but it's also my truth. And there's a part of me that has to stand on like what my truth is as an artist. Like, my truth is as an artist that most of these songs are 2 years old. My truth is as an artist that I could have, you know, had this same album out. And that's not to like smear them. It's just what it is and how I was feeling at the moment. And I think maybe if I would have had that conversation more recently behind closed doors, because it is that's another narrative that's running around, is that we've never spoke. We've had that conversation 15 times. You know what I'm saying? But maybe if it would have been a more recent conversation, it wouldn't have came off so like I'm like purposely trying to smear the name or something like that.
Well, for people that aren't super familiar with your back catalog, the song Window Pane kind of addressed the situation. Windows Cry, I'm sorry, Window Cry years in advance, even specifically with Musa. Like, all right, my manager's top son, I don't understand how that works. If we have a disagreement, you choose his dad's side. Like,
That is a difficult situation to kind of navigate through. The fact that your manager is the CEO of the label that you're signed to, son.
Yeah.
You don't think that there's too much of conflict of interest there?
I mean, that was why I wrote the song. Like, for the record, I wrote the record before anything had happened. It was literally just like me, like kind of looking around and being like, okay, this is like something that could happen. And I get creative with my music. So it's like, it's weird because it's a yes and a no. It's like a yes that is a high conflict of interest, you know, clearly, but also B, Musa is like a brother to me. So it's like maybe in the beginning, but now that like we're really like family, yes, it is still some type of conflict because it's gonna be weird, but it's like that is still my family also. And I will say like Top, like he holds niggas accountable. Like it's not like because that's his son, they don't get cussed out and all this other stuff. You get what I'm saying? But it creates a weird dynamic. Like it's not nothing that, you know, is that hard to figure out if you can kind of connect the dots. At times it creates a weird dynamic, but I also feel like we handle it pretty well because everybody treats everybody like family, you know what I mean, for the most part.
So after Windows Cry came out, was it weird at all?
It was like certain people at the label, not Top or Musa, but like I call them like the minions. Minions meaning like
probably find a different word.
Like, minions meaning like people that are not like a part of the label, but like they're a part of the label. You get what I'm saying? Like, cause it's family. Like they felt more of a way than Top and Musa did. You get what I'm saying? From me dropping Windows Cry. And I'm like, I wrote Windows Cry, like Top is the one that put it on the album. I didn't write it to be on the album. Like my outro was Gossip. And then Top put it as the outro. So I'm like, we were good. It was more of like, that's where it kind of gets tricky. Like, and I feel like that's like an example of what happened on Monday. It's like, it be the minions. Like, it's the messy shit.
Gotta find a better word.
For real. Like, I don't care, bro. It's like, it's the messy people outside of it that like, and it's on both sides. Like I got my homies that call me and oh fuck that, bro, that's not cool. So I know they got the same type.
Well, that's how it usually goes.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And it's like it creates. Sometimes it can create that weird environment when you know I'm always open for a conversation. Moose is always open for a conversation. Top's always open for a conversation. And that's why I posted it on my gram afterwards. I said, this could have been a conversation. It could have been love. Like we could have just had a convo, and that's on both sides. It's not just on their side. It's not on my side. Like we could have just had a conversation.
So what was right after the stream?
Yeah.
What was your phone like? And did you feel like you wanted to talk to Musa immediately off?
Yeah.
Mike or Top or anyone? What was the first move after that entire
thing? My phone actually didn't start blowing up right away because like and this is no shot at they fan base, but like I hang out with civilians that don't care about the messy shit. So like my homies didn't see the stream until it went viral. You get what I'm saying? Like I got like maybe 3 hit-ups after I left or whatever. I went to go shoot another album trailer like right after that. I didn't want to hit Musa right off the back because me and Musa have a relationship where like our pride gets super, super high. I like saying this, we're Virgos, even though that means absolutely nothing. I just like saying it. But
you're both born.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
We're Virgos and the moon aligns to where like
it's right over there.
It's the moon's fault whenever you think about it.
You know what I'm saying? Like so maybe the moon
not y'all fault, right?
No, it's the moon's fault. Absolutely.
The moon was in the wrong position, and I just didn't think it was healthy for us to talk at that point. Anything I was going to say at that point wasn't going to be productive, and then vice versa. So me and Musa,
that's mature, y'all though.
Yeah,
not
bro, you gotta understand we done did this. Like you know what I mean? Like me and Musa, we have like this brother relationship where like we didn't almost like got into real fights and all of that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like we've done that before. It just shouldn't have happened in front of 10 million people.
When's the last time something that happened between the two of you? Had it been a while?
It had been a while. And that's why I was saying that it should have just been a conversation because we hadn't had one of those conversations in like 8 months. So it's like sometimes me and Musa, not even sometimes, all the time, me and Musa be needing to reset because we be really like feeling away and then we have a conversation and we reset. And then, so I kind of feel like that was boiling and you know what I mean? Like in this like, it just should have been a conversation, bro.
But even some of the borderline disrespectful things that were said on that stream, we've worked together and I think we have a similar objectivity when it comes to making art. We don't take things personal.
Yeah.
If it's better for the record or better for what we're doing,
exactly. Yeah.
No one takes it that way. How did you not take a lot of what he said personal? Even if it is about your career.
I definitely took that shit personal. Like, the fuck? They called me the school teacher. All this other crazy
That was
shit.
pretty funny, though.
Bro, it was funny, but in the moment, it wasn't funny.
I'm sure.
That shit was not funny, bro. Like, I definitely took that shit personal. Like, and Musa knows I took it personal. It's like, you know, it was one of those things where I was like, you know, it feels like he's, like, trying to like embarrass me in this moment.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, and but I also know Moosa's heart, like with the label, like this is his dad's label, and he's just so proud of TDE. So for him, I can also see how he took some of the things that I said personal. You get what I'm saying? Like regardless of if it was my truth or not.
Yeah.
I can see how he felt like, you know, like I take this personal. You get what I'm saying? And so it's almost like he took that personal. So then he took personal shots. I took it personal. And I'm just glad that it didn't, like, it's funny, like the homie who worked for the label, I'm not gonna say his name, but he called me right after the stream. And the first thing he said was that could have been way worse. That was the first thing he said, was like, that could have been way.
It definitely felt
way
like
it could have been way worse.
You know,
bro.
it definitely felt like it could have been worse. And that's my thing. It's like it felt like it was so much that you wanted to say or that you had to say that you just was like, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
If it got to that point where, like you said, you wanted to go viral, you want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that it didn't, because now, again, you get time to look back and be like, why did it go down like that? We didn't have to go back and forth. So I think that it happened. I think that it's a lot of positive things that could come from that.
For sure. I mean, if they didn't know my album was dropping on Friday, and niggas knew my album was dropping on Friday,
There you go.
that's the first
Even though it wasn't planned, it worked.
It worked. It worked.
But
Yeah.
the first thing I thought, because I feel like you would have spoken to me if that was like some fake shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, that was real.
Yeah.
But the first thing I thought was, oh fuck, it's his album release week, which means he may see more people from the label than he's ever seen in his life. Because that's the week you really have to work and see everybody, whether it be a release party, whether you're doing press, whether you're going to the office. Like, what was that week like, just running into everyone from the label?
Yeah, that was like the weirdest part. But it ended up, what I thought was going to be the weirdest part, but it ended up not being as bad. I had a release party. Nobody showed up from the label. So that, like, for me, was love.
The release party you just had?
Yeah, the one I had one on Thursday.
And nobody from the label showed up?
My bad. Rayvon showed up. Shout out to Rayvon. Rayvon showed up. Nobody showed up.
He's the only person from TDE that showed up.
He's the only person from TDE that showed up. But I took it, and I know people are going to take it however they take it. I took it as, you know, maybe niggas is just giving me space because they know how I am. That's how I took it. That's genuinely how I took it. It was like, maybe niggas are, you know, just giving me space or whatever the case may be.
Well, did you expect them either way? There's a huge conspiracy that Maul didn't show up to my album release party, so that means we're beefing. Just certain people, you don't expect, not in a bad way. It's just no, I'm not expecting someone to drop everything they're doing in their lives and go travel to go celebrate me for an hour.
Exactly. and it's a combination of, we had an early listening party the week before, and everybody didn't show up, but like majority of like them showed up. So I took it as two ways. Like, maybe, you know, they showed up to that one, so they're not showing up to this one. Or also maybe they're giving me my space. You know what I mean? But regardless, it's like, I have tough skin. I really didn't take it that personal, but yeah, like, so we had that, and then Cal had the boiler room. It was like a big party the next day. That's where the Schoolboy Q snippet came from. And then I didn't go to that. I didn't go to that just because I was still in my feelings, just for me to be completely honest with it. It was like, I knew that, you know, it was gonna be the Minions there. It wasn't really about Moose and them being there. It was more about the Minions, and I didn't want to run into the Minions.
Yeah.
Like, so.
No.